folks, Dad here with Elevation Diecast Racing. It's time for the Hot Wheels versus Matchbox 31 to 40 gram class gift car race. And along with all the cars that were sent in as gifts from all the racers, which I really appreciate, we have something special that was made by Kyle over at 131 Racing. He made me this plaque, and man, I really do appreciate such a gesture. This is pretty neat. Really nice. So thank you for making this and thinking of me, and I really appreciate it. It's gonna look good. We're gonna put it somewhere along the track here. Most likely it's gonna end up somewhere like that. I don't really know. I might be able to just do it just like that for now. But again, Kyle, I definitely appreciate the kindness. So there were 26 gift cards sent, one late arrival, which we are going to include into the gift car race since it is Hot Wheels versus Matchbox. Here is the 39 gram Aramis Rodriguez Mach 1 Mustang. And for his Matchbox entry, it is the 37 gram 62 Corvette. We will go through all of these cars and show you where they're from. They've all been to the speed shop, and I'm going to put them through some kind of qualifying like we do for the races. To make up for the 4, I pulled some blister cars, did not treat them, so they can't win. They can't possibly win a race, but just to fill the bracket. So these will be the 4 elevation cars that will go into the bracket to make 32. So first up on the turnstile, these cars will be from the Scale Racing channel. Got a couple of Johnny Lightnings here. This is the Monopoly Roadster. Pretty cool. And then the Monopoly Get Out of Jail Free Bus. Never even knew this existed. So there is that, the Monopoly Bus and the Monopoly Roadster. He also was kind enough to send along a Sterling Marlin number 4 Kodak and a Matchbox Camaro. Very cool. I'm hoping this one has some speed. I did have one in my collection, and it just sits in a box because it wasn't fast. Hoping this one has a little speed. We'll see. And the other one from Scale Racing is another Johnny Lightning 69 Chevy Camaro SS muscle car. So thank you, Brandon, over at the Scale Racing channel. Next car up came by way of Abnormal Speed Racing. This one was from Abby Normal. It is from the Rod Squad, and I believe this one is the 55 Chevy. So thank you. We will send this one down the track and see what he does. The next one up I'm going to show you is going to be one because of one of the ones that I'm going to present from Poverty Hollow. So this one is my black GTO wagon. Kind of had him sitting around. We're going to have a little fun with this race because it is a GTO, and maybe you don't know that me and Scoop go back and forth about the good old classic GTO and how pretty that one is, and even this one. But nevertheless, so this wagon will no doubt be going against this one, no matter how they seed in the bracket, against the Poverty Hollow GTO bracket wagon that he sent along, the Redline version. I just think that is going to be such a cool race. He also sent along one of the spoilers. Very cool in purple. And this is a Judge. Knows I love the GTOs, and you can never have enough GTOs. I mean, even if you have them all, you got to give them all in the same color, different color. different body styles, except for, you know, a handful. And then he sent along this red line. I believe this is a red line club car. So he's going in the race, and he's a van. I do drive a van. Unfortunately, it's my everyday driver because it's the only vehicle I have, but I love my vans. And he also sent along another Erdl. I still have the Erdl that he sent along for racing in the pass lane. It's still in my ranks. So we're looking for speed out of this Camaro by Erdl, courtesy of Poverty Hollow Diecast Racing. So thank you, Scoop, for sending those along. We'll see where they go down the track. Next up is going to be a couple from Bavarian Diecast Racing. He sent a couple of Johnny Lightnings along. This one is the Revels Jungle Gym. Funny car. Again, I mean, color me gone. You just never have enough Johnny Lightnings. There's no such thing. There's, like I would tell anybody, you can just have too many slow cars is my motto. Never too many, just too many slow ones. So Marcus over at Bavarian Diecast, thank you for sending these along. Coincidentally, he asked me to run these when I got them, and these are the times that were ran. We're going to see if they've gotten any faster. Let's see what happens there. So thank you, Marcus, for those. Bavarian Diecast Racing. The next ones we're going to look at is all the way from Finland. Northern Roads Racing sent along a Johnny Lightning Black with Flames 67 Camaro. Very cool. I do have this one. I don't know. I think he's in the garage. We'll see if this one packs any speed. Very cool casting. You gotta love the classics, man. Johnny Lightning gonna be rolling. Also sent along a 67 or 68 Mustang GT. You never know what's going to make it in Johnny World, but this one has all the characteristics of speed. We'll see how well he rolls down the track. And then also sent along the 1971 El Camino. Very, very cool. I do love the El Caminos. I love these older commemorative type castings. And I really do think those were just meant to hang around, you know. And I think that is what that hook is for. Pretty cool. Nonetheless, yeah, may do something with that in the future, but thanks again, Tommy, over at Northern Roads Racing for sending those. Next up, one from the Zamac Speed Shop, the Zender Fact 4. I have not come across this particular colorway and wheel variants, so I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what that does down the track. Zamac Speed Shop. Thank you for sending that guy along. Next up is one from RC Addicts, and this is the Karma GS6. Karma GS6, RC Addicts. This one in blue, and these ones, you know, have a lot of potential. They sit low to the ground. They got the classic wide wheelbase, everything it needs to make for a good modified casting. So I'm looking forward to building a couple of those to see what they do down the track. Next up, one from Hot Nuts Diecast Racing. As far as I'm concerned, this is like a super treasure hunt. I've never seen this on the pegs, and I probably not probably won't find one of these unless I go to Colorado Diecast or something, and then they'll want an arm and a leg for him anyway. So I'm very thankful to have one of these in my hand. I'm hoping he has some speed so he can make it in my F1 class. So this is the Oracle Red Bull Racing. And still haven't found the 5-pack to this one, but I'm certain that'll come up one day as the big phase dies off and all the scallywags have made their $5 or $6 off a 5-pack. That's great. I'll find one eventually, but Hot Nuts Diecast, thank you for sending these along. Up next is one from Captain K's Racing. It is the 69 Copo Corvette. The only one I had, I think I gave away, if I remember right. But I was glad to see this one again. I see them all over, but if I have one and I haven't ran it yet, we'll just find out if they have any speed, and if they're worth picking a few up, I will. But definitely glad to have this one in the race. Captain K's Racing. Thank you, sir, for sending that in. Next one up is by way of Milestone Racing. And this is the Kylo Ren character car. Definitely the Darth Vader and Luke Skywalker. Well, the Darth Vader I know has some speed, and a different version of that Skywalker I know can be fast. And this is Kylo Ren. Good looking car. Also think this would make a decent mod. If there's ever a character car mod race, I'm sure there's a bazillion of these out there, and Batmans and all of that. But definitely cool. Glad to have this one in the collection. I think if you shine a light on the bottom of that, it glows red. Can't attest to that. Haven't tried it, but that's the only reason I can think that red is there. So thank you, Milestone Diecast. Next one up from DXP Diecast Racing. Another real GTO. Let's go. Don't have this colorway. Hoping this one can make it into my basics lineup. You never know. He could be a freak. He could get in the ranks. You just never know. Of course, you know, after the race, we'll get them on the scale, the winners, the podium, and we'll see if they have anything for the ranks. And the last four we're going to see here are all from 131 Racing. Clay over at 131. This is the Futurismo color shifter. Definitely looking forward to seeing how these guys run. Of course, the nickel-plated axles and these wheels, the Ryu Asadas, usually roll real well. So we are going to definitely find out. He also sends along an Ultra Hots front running Fairmont. I still have a dozen or so of these wrapped up in the pack, but it's always good to see if we can find a fast one. The fastest one I think I've gotten is a 2066. So we're hoping that this one can beat that. We'll see. Gonna be interesting to see how all of these fit in and run. Definitely excited to always run new cars, and especially gifts from other channels. It's just super fun to share the camaraderie and to be able to give back to the community. And I just love it. I got to send out the rest of the cars this week. Next one is Power Rocket, color shifters, metal base, and looking forward to definitely looking forward to the next Hot Wheels versus Matchbox 41 to 50 weight class, the Mobster Classic, and the mob vehicle is your modified casting, head on over to redlinederby.com to check out that race if you want to get in on that. Twin mill. The Braille twin mill. Metal bottom, metal base. Also from 131 diecast. So I'll I'll shoot these down the line, and to save time, I'll get them all put in the bracket, and we'll come back and have a little race. So stay with us. We'll be right back. All right, and we're back. We have the stage set. This will be our running order on the left side of the bracket and down the right side of the bracket. Want to give a shout out to everybody who sent some extras along to contribute to this race. Without you guys, this video doesn't exist. Also, any Johnny Lightnings in this gift car race will be featured on this Friday's Friday Night Lightning, along with the cars we opened up to see if we can get any speed out of some new Johnnies. I am hoping we tap into this case here and get some new cars into the top 48 of the Johnny Lightning class. Today's featured channel is Bobby D's Lakeside Raceway, featuring the Bavarian diecast racing. I will also be watching this episode and the episode that follows this one to catch up, as I am a little behind on my videos. But I wanted to feature this today since we do have a guest on that channel as a part of this race. So without any further ado, in lane number 1 is the Scale Racing channel in the Camaro, and Northern Roads Racing in the Johnny Lightning El Camino. Gift car race underway. Wow, 2072 to 15. 2172 is the time to beat. And Northern Roads Racing with his El Camino from Johnny Lightning, moving on to round number 2. Up next in the far lane is Aramis Rodriguez's Matchbox entry, the 62 Corvette, taking on Abnormal Speed's 55 Chevy. Let's see who gets down the lane first. Aramis out front. Oh, my Lanta Abby Normal drives around him on the big end. 2163 is the time to beat. Aramis gets him out of the blocks, but Abby Normal gets around him on the big end, moving him on to round number 2. Up next is the Power Rocket from 131 diecast, taking on the 68 Mustang from Northern Roads Racing. The Mustang gonna hold on. 2100 is the time to beat. Power Rocket 2102, not enough. Mustang moving on to round number 2. Next two up is the RC Addicts Karma, taking on the Poverty Hollow Z28 IROC by Ertl. Wow, 2084 to 37. 2084 is the time to beat. 2094 in the other lane, moving Poverty Hollow on to round number 2. Up next should be a great race here with Poverty Hollow's spoiler GTO Judge in the close lane. And in the far lane, Captain K Racing 68 Copo Corvette. Ultra Hots for Hot Wheels. Rolling. Good race. Corvette getting them 2089 to 07. 2089 is the time to beat. And the Corvette with an 88, moving him on to round number 2. Next up will be the two GTO wagons going at it. One from Dad's Race Team and one from Poverty Hollow Diecast. Good race. Poverty Hollow 2098 to 08. 2098 be the time to beat. 2098 gets Poverty Hollow to round number 2. All right, up next is the Scale Racing Monopoly Roadster taking on the Braille Twin Mill. Well, let's see how this shakes out. Twin Mill with a little gappage on the back end. 2120. 2120 is the time. And the Twin Mill moving on to round number 2 for Clay 131 Racing. Up next is Clay's Fairmont taking on one of the Elevation kids. Fairmont with no problem, 208.9. And to be in the fair amount of exercise, giving them another run, 208.8. Moving 131 to round 2. And remember, the Jungle Gym funny car time is on the White Lightning track. And those times we'll see reflected on Friday. For Friday Night Lightning, it is Bavarian Die-Cast Racing. Putting down a 208.2, that's really good. For Johnny Lightning to be rolling down Mile High. Wow, 207.1 moves Bavarian to round number 2. Next up will be the Get Out of Jail Free Monopoly Van by Scale Racing Channel taking on the Red Line Poverty Hollow Van. Van out front, but the bus runs them down. 2:129 is the time to beat. Bus again, driving around them on the big end, moving Scale Racing to round number 2. Next up is the Red Bull F1 by Hot Nuts Die-Cast Racing and the Camaro Black with Flames from Northern Roads Racing. Camaro, ooh, the Indy just got him on the big end. 2:134 is the time to beat. 2:121 does get the Camaro past him, going to round number 2. Next up from the Zamax Speed Shop, it is the Zender Fact 4 taking on the DXP GTO. Zender Fact 4, 2:094 is the time to beat. Good race, 2:093 gets the Zender Fact from Zamac to the next round. Next up, Aramis Rodriguez's Hot Wheel entry in the Mach 1 Mustang from the Hot Ones Flying Custom Series, taking on one of Elevation's Blister Pack Porsches. Mustang 216 to 2258. 216. And Aramis moving his Mustang to round number 2. Next up in the blocks, Milestone Racing's Kylo Ren taking on the Camaro from Scale Racing Channel. Wow, Camaro just commanding 2:075 is what Kylo Ren will have to beat. Camaro 2:079 moving the Scale Racing Channel to round number 2. Next up in the blocks, it is the 131 Futurismo taking on the Bavarian Die-Cast Racing's Color Me Gone. Color Me Gone taking it with a 2:108. The time to beat. 2:117 getting the Bavarian Bomber to round number 2. And for the last race of the first round, it's one of the Elevation Blister Kids taking on Scale Racing's Sterling Marlin. Ooh, 2:087 is the time to beat. 2:081 moving the Scale Racing Channel to round number 2. Next round, shaping up. We're going to dial into some speed. Johnny Lightning taking the first 3 races on this right side of the bracket. Aramis Rodriguez still in it with his Mustang. Up in the blocks, we got Abby Normal and Northern Roads El Camino versus the Chevy 75 to 57. I should say 157. 2:075 is the time to beat. 2:073 moving Northern Roads El Camino to round number 3. Next up is the Poverty Hollows Earl taking on the Northern Roads Mustang. Earl pulling out front. 2:088 is the time to beat. Earl 2:081 moving Poverty Hollow to round number 3. Next up, staged and ready, is the Poverty Hollow GTO wagon taking on Captain K's Copo Corvette. Should be a good race. Wow, that was a close race. 89 to 94. Can the wagon pull off the upset? 89, the time to beat. Oof, close. 83 moves the Corvette from Captain K on to round number 3. And we do have a temperature of 70 degrees. Next up, the 131 Twin Mill taking on the 131 Fairmont. Fairmont 209.8 is the time to beat. Fairmont taking off well this time, 208.4, getting him on to round number 3. All right, next up, two Johnnies going at it on Mile High. Bavarian Diecast in the Jungle Gym Funny Car, taking on the Scale Racing Monopoly Get Out of Jail Free Bus. Wow, 207.7 to 122, and 207.7 will be the time, moving Bavarian to round number 3. Next up is the Northern Roads Camaro taking on the Zamac Zender Fact 4. Camaro out in front, but the Zender Fact with a 209.9 being the time that Camaro will have to beat. Won't do it. Zender Fact with a 208.5 this time, moving him to round number 3. All right, it's do or die for Team Aramis in his Mach 1 Mustang taking on the SRC Camaro from Johnny Lightning. Wow, astronomical gap, 77 to 163. Mustang with one more shot needs better than a 207.7, and it won't happen. 207.2. The Camaro is getting faster, moving on to the next round. Next up, it'll be Bavarian Diecast in his Color Me Gone taking on the SRC Pro Circuit Sterling Marlin. Gonna come away with the win. 207.8 is the time to beat. Sterling Marlin with a 208.1, getting him into the quarters. And then there were 8. Always watching. All right, it's Poverty Hollows, Erdl, Camaro taking on Northern Roads, Johnny Lightning. El Camino going to the semis is, wow, the Erdl out of nowhere, 207.8 to 79. 207.8 is the time to beat. Wow, Camino getting out and staying out. 207.4 will move the Northern Roads El Camino to the semifinal round. Next up is a battle of the Ultra Hots. 131 Racing in his Fairmont and Captain K Racing in his Copo Camaro. This should be a great race. Camaro or Copo Corvette, 86 to 91. 208.6 laid down by the Corvette is the time to beat. Good race, 84 to 94, moving Captain K to the semifinal round. Next up in the blocks, the Bavarian Bomber in his Jungle Gym Vega Funny Car from Johnny Lightning taking on the Zamac Zender Fact. Wow, 72 to 91. 207.2 is the time the Zender Fact will need. Stays with him. 85, not bad. That won't be the last time we see that car, but 207.3 moving the Bavarian Bomber and his Johnny Lightning to the semis. He'll be taking on the Scale Racing Channel. It's just a matter of which car will it be, the Sterling Marlin or the Lightning Camaro. Camaro 75 to 78. Sterling Marlin needs to beat a 78. Or 75 rather. He gets a 78 to 75. Wow, running really even is the track. And Scale Racing Channel moving his Johnny Lightning Camaro to the semifinal round. All right, let's see what happens here. Who's going to the finals and who's racing for third? Captain K or Northern Roads Racing? Northern Roads out front, 72 to 86. 207.2 is the time to beat. And 75 will get the El Camino to the final race. And so it will be a Johnny Lightning final. Bavarian Diecast in the Vega, Scale Racing in the Camaro. Good race, 72 to 75. 72 being the time to beat. Oh, so close. Scale Racing Channel going to the final race. And the race for third. Captain K's Racing and Bavarian Diecast. Camaro versus Vega. 77 to 82. 2077 is the time that the Corvette will need, and he won't get it. Bavarian diecast capturing third place. And the gift car final, Scale Racing Channel's Camaro taking on Northern Roads El Camino. And you know what this means. You don't have to wait till Friday night. We're going to find out what these two do on White Lightning Raceway after this race. I'm super excited for Roland, Johnny Lightning. Whew, good race, 73 to 75. Advantage Northern Roads. What was that? Okay. Let's roll that again. That's the first time that's ever done that. Again, we'll just start over. El Camino with a 206.8 and a 10,000 speed. And that's what the Camaro will need. 2070 won't get it done. And there you have it. Coming in first from Northern Roads Racing was the El Camino from Johnny Lightning. Second place, Scale Racing Channel's Camaro. And third place, Bavarian Diecast Racing's Vega Jungle Gym Funny Car. Again, I want to thank everybody who was kind and sent in an extra car and to make this race possible. So now let's see what Jungle Jim will do on White Lightning Raceway. 2061 was the time he came with on White Lightning. Now we're at a 2057. And what's he roll over here? 2039, very nice. Well, let's just see here. Yeah, why not? We'll start at the Wonder Wagon. 10th overall in the Johnny Lightning class. Vega versus Vega. Wow, Jungle Jim got him 42 to 43. 42 and greater than 1 is the time. Oh man, 33 to 52 that time. We'll bump him down a few notches to the Mustang. Good race. Mustang got him though, 44 to 45. And what happens here? Yeah, Mustang's gonna get him. Let's see what happens against the Green Apple. Won't get him either. It's a little different in Johnny traffic. Yeah, Green Apple gonna get him 38 to 50. Let's see what he does against the GTO for spot number 28. Oh, he's gonna get him 44 to 51. 2044 and greater than 7. Time to beat. 46 won't get it. Let's see if he can take out the Captain K Camaro. Spot 27. Oh wow, he gets him. 38 to 46. 38 and 8 is the time. 43 won't get him. Let's see if he can get past the All-American Skylark. Indeed he can. 41 to 53. 41 and greater than 12. Good race. 40 and 3. So 40 and greater than 3 now is the time. 41 and 5 won't get it. So Bavarian Diecast with his Jungle Jim Funny Car will get 27th overall in the Johnny Lightning class with his third place gift car winner of the night. And that's going to do it for this portion of the racing for the gift car race, Hot Wheels versus Matchbox 31 to 40 weight class. Stay tuned. Friday Night Lightning is going to be full of speed, where we're going to see where the SRC Camaro and the Northern Roads El Camino land in the case for the Johnny Lightning class. Greater than 27, I'm assuming, is going to be some good speed. Stay tuned. We'll also see I'm sure some live racing between now and then to go through some more of these that were sent in to see if we can get them either ranked or in the basics or somewhere. And just remember, if your car isn't fast, well, at least it'll look good on the shelf. Have a great day, and we will see you soon. See ya.